Welcome, everybody, to Sunday Morning with Twitchy Woman. Our speaker today is Apurva Zawar, who will be speaking about early Parkinson's rehabilitation for the newly diagnosed. And let me tell you a little bit about her. Dr. Zawar is a passionate neurologic physical therapist with expertise in treating movement disorders. She's an educator and mentor. She owns and practices at Beyond Rehab, a digital neuro rehab and wellness clinic offering telehealth services in California, Washington, and Massachusetts. Her primary focus of work involves serving and managing movement disorder conditions such as Parkinson's, dystonia, functional movement disorders, and chronic pain through an integrative care and personalized evidence-based care that caters to each person's unique needs and aspirations. In addition to her clinical work, she is actively involved in research and serves as a board member of APDA Northwest, where she continues to advocate for enhanced care and support for the Parkinson's community. So welcome, Apurva. I'm going to turn this over to you.
So let's get this started. How's everyone doing? It was nice learning and hearing from all of you before we begin.
Fine. Good.
Fine. Great. Good.
Oh, I forgot to mention, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat. I will be monitoring the chat. Okay, and then we'll open it up later for questions and answers.
So as Sharon said, my specialty is primarily working with movement disorder group, Parkinson's, and other functional movement disorders. So today we'll be primarily talking about early Parkinson's disease rehab, like what are the new ways which you can look into and rethink and redesign your care. So starting right from understanding what are the changes associated with Parkinson's disease, looking into understanding the role of exercise, different rehabilitation approaches, building your healthcare team, designing a multimodal care program, and finding new ways to continuously enhance. So it will be very interactive, immersive learning experience. We'll look into what are the new ways where you can rethink and redesign your exercise program and routine. So before we start, I'd like to ask you, when were you first diagnosed with Parkinson's? So if you can, I'll just start the poll. So using the poll, you can just click on any of the the options which suits for you. So 0 to 5 years, 5 to 10, or more than 10. Okay. So I see majority of individuals are in 0 to 5 years. So great. And a couple of them are in 5 to 10, like more than a couple. So yeah, we'll make sure, we are helping the both groups in the initial diagnosis and the following mid-stage diagnosis. Okay. So as you all know, there are a lot of motor changes happening with the Parkinson's disease. So primarily it's the trunk changes, symptoms on one side, slight changes in balance, coordination, and gait, followed by the non-motor symptoms more related. It varies, but these are the primary common ones which typically is encountered. So more changes in the sleep, changes in the autonomic nervous system, sensory issues, mood changes, and slight changes in the cognitive processing. So looking into these common motor and non-motor symptoms, I'd like to ask you, how will you best rate your motor symptoms on a scale of 10? So I'll just start the poll here. So just understanding, like when you look into the motor symptoms, meaning gait changes, balance, coordination, just your strength, how will you best rate it on a scale of 10? Okay. So majority of you are in mild stage and mild and moderate. So good to know. One last question before we learn more. So how will you rate your non-motor symptoms on a scale of 0 to 10? Okay, so mix primarily mild symptoms. Great. Thank you for answering this. So as you're learning and understanding the changes associated with the motor and non-motor symptoms, it's important to address it apart from the medication, looking into what are the different ways where you can work on managing it, work on addressing the changing symptoms. So primarily, like, when it comes to Parkinson's care, there's not much focus given on rehabilitation. It's more of episodic care when and where needed. And the studies have shown like only 35.3% were referred to therapy following the Parkinson's diagnosis. So this is like a current model of care when it comes to Parkinson's. Apart from movement disorder visits, like there's not a design or approach to address like other symptoms or combine multimodal care. So today we'll be looking into it. So there is a lot of importance of focusing on the secondary preventative care. How does it looks like right after the diagnosis with PD, helping individuals receive a referral to physical therapy and helping them get a standardized assessment, giving them a exercise prescription and focusing on their symptoms and helping them work on the new goals, exercise goals, physical activity goals. So this way they are able to work and manage their symptoms more efficiently in conjunction with medication. So that's more referred to as secondary prevention model. So here it's more like, every 6 months it's recommended that you have a quick assessment, quick consultation with your physical therapy team and get a assessment, get some plans, get some ideas on what are the ways you can tailor your care or look into the new approaches. So now, one last question is, did you receive physical therapy care following your diagnosis? Great. Okay. This is good that majority of you received the physical therapy care after diagnosis. Excellent. So today I'll be helping you understand what are the ways you can design the early Parkinson's care. There's been a lot of talk going on understanding the role of exercise, and I'm very confident that all of you are at the stage where you know a lot that exercise definitely plays a role, and you know like what are the ways you can exercise and what are the ways you can stay active and manage your Parkinson's symptoms. But today, primarily, we'll be focusing on how do you broaden and look into the various approach and design a care program which really works for you. So looking into all different components and helping you find new ways, new challenging ways, and finding new techniques, new approaches where you also enjoy the whole training process and get the maximum benefits out of it. So combining all different approaches, we'll go one by one. So the first of all, it's really important to look into building the active coping skills. I mean, developing strategies to adapt and cope with challenges enhancing the self-management abilities. So basically finding ways where you are taking control, where you are navigating your care. So more primarily you have better understanding what are the challenges you're facing, and what are the efficient ways you can better communicate with your team and ask for the right care. So building and gradually looking into shifting from more of passive to more of active coping skills where you are navigating the care process. Secondly, collaborating with the Parkinson specific team. So looking into getting a consultation with the rehab professional, PT, speech, uh, your neurologist, wellness coach. So whatever's appropriate for you, looking into your symptoms, looking into the team members, and finding a way, like, is there a need, and if, like, what your presentation looks like, and if you need to connecting with a Parkinson's professional to create more personalized comprehensive care plan. Following that, finding joy and strength in movement. As we all know, exercise plays really, really important role in slowing down the disease progression. So looking into the new ways where you can benefit from movement. What are the activities where you can actively engage, work, and challenge yourself to improve your function, to improve your physical and emotional well-being? Uh, Following that, engagement with Parkinson's community is really, really important, which all of you are doing here. Great, where you need to connect, share, and seek the support and support each other. And lastly, finding ways how you can use the digital tools for self-management, for monitoring, tracking, communication, and having a good way to communicate, seek the right care, and stay informed. So let's dive into each of it one by one. So the path to building active coping skills, enhancing your self-efficacy skill, it's a step-by-step process. It's the first step. It's really important to learn from the Parkinson's advocates, experts, understand their journey, learn from them. How did they address the challenges? How did they navigate their care? Uh, Continuously keep the learning going through videos, through books, through resources. There's a lot of resources. So actively learn, understand the process, understand what are the different ways where you can redesign your care, re-look into the plan which you're doing. And then following that, for looking more into the self-management program. So uh, as you're learning, as you're understanding, that's great, that's a good start. But afterwards you also need to look into like taking a deeper dive on understanding what are the different ways where you can better relearn, better manage your Parkinson's symptoms, and uh, practicing it, creating a plan where you get to practice it daily, integrate it in your daily life. So this way you build more confidence, uh, you build the positive skill sets which you can use it even throughout the process, and you can gradually advance. So it's highly if that's an option for you, and if that's something which you're interested. So the self management program is commonly offered nowadays, where you work on improving your coping skills for enhancing your quality of life, and it needs to be led by clinical experts in the field. So looking into it is a great option. So, depending wherever you are in the journey, creating a plan and making some changes and seeking the resources is essential. Following that, the second step is building your healthcare team. It's important to understand the role of each discipline and find ways to collaborate with your Parkinson's team, starting right with the movement disorder specialist, neurophysical therapist, preferably specialization with movement disorder, occupational therapist, speech therapist. It might be just be a consultation, but it's good to have that support, good to have that first consultation done. So if there's uh, any changes in your care, or any new skill sets, or any new program which you need to implement, can be put in place easily. So connecting and coordinating with the team is recommended. So these are the two key pillars. And following that, going back to like the exercise plan, right? Like your treatment plan. So the best way to put the Parkinson's pill is thinking of it as 50% medication, 50% exercise. That's how you need to like look into the medication regimen. So all of you are having a good plan for taking medication, having the right dosage while you work with your movement disorder. Now looking into the exercise, how do you maximize your effort in daily with from the daily exercise which you do, and what are the ways you can continuously enhance your plan? So working and looking into it is the next step. So the first step is, as you're understanding and creating this game plan, the first step is understanding your symptoms, daily routine, and pain points. So definitely keep a track of your regular symptoms, motor symptoms, non-motor symptoms. Understand what are the barriers which you're facing in regularly practicing your daily exercise. And following that, communicate with the neuro PT and other team members so they know, like, for instance, if you experience a lot of fatigue in the morning, so letting them know like it really limits you from exercising. Or if you experience some pain issues, where it's really difficult for you to do certain form of exercise, communicating and letting the team know is helpful. So this way you can look into what are the other ways where you can exercise and also manage your underlying symptoms. So this way it will help you discover and develop goals along with the team to design the exercise plan, like the game plan. So, and while you're working all your exercise routine, all your physical activity routine needs to be goal directed. So keeping that in mind and breaking it down into small components and tracking it. Like if your goal is to walk for certain distance, and if you see like you're working on it and you're at this point you're able to achieve like so half of it, so making sure you acknowledge it, you notice it, and you keep the process going. So this way celebrating the small wins on the way will motivate you, will encourage you to keep doing more. So now when it comes to finding joy and strength in movement, so everyone knows like vigorous exercise plays a key role in slowing down the disease process, right? The best way to design the vigorous exercise plan is to learn about your interest in movement. It's really important to understand what's your interest. Like, do you enjoy something more outdoor? Do you enjoy something more like indoor, gym focused? What's something which you've been enjoying? Discovering that, combining it with the recent evidence, like there's a lot of studies going on when it comes to integrating the exercise. So combining those together is the first step. And then once you start with the process, then gradually diversifying your exercise routine and finding new meaningful and joyful ways to move is important. So I'll break it down. This is a really important part of our talk today. So as you're looking into the various options available to you in person uh, or online, the first step is I'll really like you to note down. We can all of you can do this together. So the first step is look into like what are the activities which you really enjoy. You can just put down like one side, you can put down like more outdoor activities, and one side you can put down indoor activities. So outdoor activities can be walking, bicycling, uh, just being a part of any sports, whatever's you've been doing. And indoor can be more specific, like training, workout, going to the gym program, like Parkinson specific gym program. If that's been an option for you, just put put it down and see uh, what you've been doing. Then looking into what's your exercise intensity. Like you can just say like you're doing it for 2 days a week, 3 days a week, for like whatever the frequency and intensity. If you remember, great. So this way this is what you are doing at present. So now when we look into the research says like aerobic training, vigorous form of training is really, really important. So let's break it down. Like what's how do we make sure the exercise which you're doing is vigorous or moderate? So typically the moderate physical activities are the ones like walking at certain speed, like 4.5 to 6.5 kilometer per hour, bicycling, recreational swimming, playing, like anywhere, in simple words, like, where you see your heart rate is where any activity where you're able to keep the conversation uh, with slight difficulty and continue the activity, it's more of moderate. And anything which is classified more as vigorous, where it's really, really difficult for you to uh, talk to someone. So with the talk test, it's like you're really huffing and puffing and it's really difficult for you to talk. That's when it's more, in simple words, classified as severe or vigorous activities. And there are range of activities which can be, which can be classified into moderate and vigorous, both outdoors, indoors. So that's the one way. And the second is, as you are doing it, and how do you assess it on a daily basis? So looking into moderate intensity exercise, it's where you are doing 60% of your heart rate reserve. So heart rate reserve is best calculated as your maximum heart rate minus your resting heart rate. So if you are into numbers and if you like to keep a track of it, that this can be a good exercise. So you get the difference and you multiply it by 60%. So this way, that's somewhere around that range. If you're working, if you're getting the heart rate to that level, you're more at moderate. If it's above, like if it's around 70 to 80% of heart rate reserve, then it's more vigorous. So it's just a reference, and you can, if you like, you can use this, or if not, you can just use the talk test. So the second thing is, the recommendation for aerobic training is 150 to 300 minutes each week if you are somewhere working around moderate intensity, meaning around 60%. And if you are doing more of a vigorous intensity aerobic exercise, then the recommendation is around 75 minutes each week. So this is in short, the summary of how do you design the aerobic training program and what are the ways you can track and see what's your level and list of activities which you can do. Now, moving on to the next, like component, like strength training. So the strength training, typically it's recommended that doing it 2 to 3 alternative days for at least 30 minutes, where you're focusing on major muscle groups. So combining strength training with balance, agility, multitasking is essential. So this way you're able to challenge and uh, do a couple things together. Similarly, it's important to add the stretching components together. So when you look at the exercise, so these are the 4 components which you want to look: aerobic, strength, balance, stretching, and see how can you mix it together through just a regular exercise program, or if you are a part of some more of a Parkinson specific exercise program. So then look into it, like if you're going for the program, what are you focusing on today? What the program is it mix of all, or are they just doing more of strength training today, or is it aerobic activity? So this way what you're doing, how your body is responding, and how's it working. So just a simple way to keep an eye and track it forwards. So now these are like the 4 simple components where we where like you need to track. Now, apart from the regular exercise training program and physical activities, there are also new ways people have been doing, and there's been a lot of research going, specifically when it comes to arts and dance. So there's been a study done which showed like dancing sessions once a week for 30 minutes to 2 hours can significantly improve your balance, mobility, endurance, freezing, and overall mood. There's been a lot of systematic review studies done on focusing on understanding various dance intervention had around moderate to large effect on PD symptoms, on managing symptoms. So this is something which you can consider if you're looking into new forms of training, new fun ways to to move and make it more Parkinson specific. So then that can be one of the options. So the second is also yoga, boxing therapy, arts forms like Tai Chi, Qigong. It's getting more common, it really helps when it comes to improving your flexibility, conditioning, balance training, improving your overall body awareness and new skill sets learning. So that's something you can look into and see if that works for you. There's been a lot of studies done showing improvement and increased efficacy of using yoga for Parkinson's. Same with boxing. So there's a positive results if you are incorporating boxing training. If any form of boxing you're going, it helps you improve the motor symptoms uh, based on the study which was done in comparison with the sensory exercise alone. And also the new like extra gaming, when you're looking into exercise and games through the video platforms, that is also one of the new ways where, if you think you want to just try the new technology and see what you can do. So game forms like Nintendo Wii, Microsoft Connect have been shown to improve motor symptoms among PD patients. So that can also be one of the new options. Days where you're like busy, didn't get time to go to the exercise class, or didn't had time to do it by yourself, this can be one of the new options. So this was all about understanding the range of exercise approaches, exercise uh, programs which you can look into doing it. So definitely I'll recommend just understand your current exercise plan, see how much effort you're putting and how overall uh, positive change you're experiencing, and see what what are the new ways where you can change it or challenge yourself in a different and a new way. The second step is, as you're learning, as you're working on improving your exercise routine, it's also important to engage, connect, and be a part of the community. This is good. All of you guys are here connecting with each other, learning and supporting each other. It's really, really important to actively involve with the Parkinson's community, as you get to learn from each other a lot. Now, as we move into the following step, it's more understanding the digital tools for self-management. So,
See
so
if they're
digital tools,
if they're ready.
like there are series of apps which can be downloaded on a smartphone or a tablet, and it can help you track the symptoms, manage medication, access resources. So the apps like Strive PD, Parkinson's Relief, and there's one more, APDA symptom tracker, where you can daily keep a journal of your symptoms, rate your symptoms, put your cushions, anything which you need to communicate with your provider. That can be done. Similarly, there are websites like Patients Like Me, which facilitates self-tracking and provides a platform and information for patients. And nowadays, use of wearable device is getting common. If you're using one, track your make sure you're tracking the physical activity, sleeping, and other metrics, and see like how's your overall performance, and it will give you a better insight. Lastly, the other new approach, and it's been getting more common, it's tele-rehabilitation. There's been multiple studies done showing the efficacy of tele-rehabilitation in improving gait, balance, speech, and upper limb function. Similarly, there was a study done focusing on understanding, like a longitudinal study on understanding the delivery of physical therapy using a tablet-based approach, and they found it overall positive when improving overall quality of life and long-term adherence for 9 months following the study. So this was all regarding a quick overview of what are the new ways, where you can look creatively, look into various options on where you can combine and see what works for you and what supports you need, as you are in the process and designing your care. I'd like to quickly share a case study which I've done in my practice. Was Mastery Movement Program. The program was primarily designed for helping individuals newly diagnosed with PD in the last 5 years. It was a comprehensive and evidence-based approach to focusing on self-management and addressing the unmet needs and improving overall quality of life. The goal was to help individuals take control of their health and well-being. And this program was designed in a fashion where it was like initial assessment, it was a comprehensive assessment, followed by individual sessions spread it across 6 weeks, then group education, and like towards the end, discharge planning. So the initial assessment was done to help understand the symptoms, set goals, do physical therapy evaluation using standardized assessments, and create a personalized treatment goals and plans to help individuals meet their needs and preferences. So similarly, the virtual PT session looked like 4 individual sessions across 6 weeks, focusing on treating physical deficits and Parkinson-related symptoms. And it was all around personalized intervention to improve function. So this is something different, which I'd like to elaborate here further. So the group virtual session was focused on education series interaction, where there was learning around just understanding PT, importance of exercise, creating exercise plans specific to their preferences, finding ways how can they engage in a daily Parkinson specific routine, integrating technology using different digital tools, digital wearables for care management, understanding ways to better manage fatigue, pain using non-pharmacological approach, and freezing and dystonia. So this gave like a broader view and helped individuals learn. It was done in the group. So learn from the team, learn from the peers together, and create, build confidence, build skill sets on how can they better manage their symptoms, manage their condition effectively. And the end of the program was more just doing a personalized plan for ongoing care and accessing resources and creating a platform where they have easy access to resources and ongoing support. So based on the program, the end results was there was an improved physical function and mobility as measured based on the standardized scales. There was enhanced self-management skills and knowledge of Parkinson's disease as measured by self-reported survey, and overall improved quality of life for you as measured by the questionnaire of the PDQ questionnaire. So this was a quick overview of the program which was done, and seeing and helping individuals build confidence, build autonomy in managing their care. I'll share the link for this later. So this was a quick summary of from my end, helping you relook into what are the new ways, what are the new techniques which you can integrate in your existing routine, and if you need, what help do you need, and where you need, who you need to ask for. So that's all, and thank you for joining me, listening to me, and I'm happy to answer and connect with you on any of the questions you have next. Thank you. I'll just stop the screen here. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. We've talked about many of these things that Apurva has told you about. We've had our speaker last week has Rochelle Flanagan has a new app for tracking your symptoms. You can, which is called My Moods Matters. You can add that to the list. There are so many things out there now that were not available when I was diagnosed. I was diagnosed 14 years ago, and at the time, exercise wasn't even at the top of the list for rehab. So it's changed a lot in the last 14 years. So we only had a couple questions during the talk. One of which was, can you share the slides with everybody?
Yes, happy to do that.
Okay, so you can send it to me. I will send it to the people on here. And another question was, what does UPDRS stand for? It's Universal Parkinson's Disease Rating Scale. So when your doctor has you do this and this, all these different things, they're measuring your Parkinson's. They have ways of determining what stage you were at. So any questions from anybody there. Just either raise your hand physically or go to the chat. You know, if you click on chat, you can, I think reactions, you can raise your hand under reactions. So just go ahead and, okay, Suzanne, unmute yourself. I muted everybody, so unmute yourself.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that was, hi,
Hi.
I'm very newly diagnosed in the last month, actually. And so frankly, that was pretty overwhelming, girlfriend. That was pretty overwhelming. It's like, oh my God, I'm very happy to be exercising 3 days a week, but 300 minutes of intense exercise. I was in very bad shape before I got diagnosed and started taking cinnamon. So to catch it, to be doing the level of, I don't feel like I need a physical therapist because I'm doing work with a group here called CD Connect, which has wonderful, and Sharon knows about them, two wonderful women who offer exercise every day of the week. I can do it on Zoom, and it includes aerobics. I think it's strength training without weights, but I could add weights and aerobics as well. Everything. It's like they do, it's designed specifically for those of us with Parkinson's disease. And it feels like enough for right now. I feel like I have a neurologist. I've signed up to see a movement specialist, but she's not seeing anybody until December, but I might get lucky and get a cancellation. So I just, this whole idea of a huge care team and physical therapist, I'm just not sure. I'm so new to this. I have very few symptoms. I did try to find out about somebody to help me with my speech, because although it's gotten louder, it got very soft before I got the fit. Then it's back to more normal, but it's a challenge to move my lips, and it's tiring to talk. And so I do want to check on that, but I feel like I kind of have enough just basic understanding, thanks to Google and to some of the groups I've associated with, that I don't need to get into quite as much detail in terms of as yours. And I just wonder what you think of that, because it just feels overwhelming. I don't want my whole life to be about Parkinson's disease, because it's not really affecting me very much yet.
Can I make a couple comments?
Good part.
Yeah.
I'll just, like, you're doing really good starting with the exercise right away. You're regularly doing it, so good work. Just keep a track of your exercise, keep an exercise diary, like, how many minutes you're exercising, what's your response. And if any days where you have any challenges, just put it down, like, today, for instance, you felt really tired to do it in the morning, and see if everything's flowing great, keep that going. And whenever you think you just need a consultation with the speech therapist, just to see what are the new exercise which you can do and add to your existing routine for your lip training, for your lip muscles. So do it when you're ready, but all you're doing is really, really good. Keep that flowing, and I'll highly recommend using a simple exercise diary. So this way, when you are meeting your team, you can better communicate and let them know how's your overall response, and how you're taking care. But good work with starting with the exercise right away. That takes a lot of effort.
I thank you. A lot of people have said that was like the main thing, is to be sure I'm exercising. And I couldn't when I was so sick before. I was in bed most of the time. I have to build up slowly. I've been doing Pilates also once a week for like almost an hour. So that's kept my legs very strong, which is good.
Right. Good work. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey, Joanne.
Susan and then Joan.
Suzanne, I wanted to say, you're so new into it. Yeah, you can't jump into a deep end of a pool without knowing how to swim, but it just doesn't work.
Right.
And the water's really cold. But you're doing everything you need to do. I do recommend you eventually build your team with a physical therapist, because my symptoms are slowly progressing. I'm very lucky that way. And I've been diagnosed 6 years ago. But what I do find is I have a relationship with my physical therapist. So she's very in touch with my body also. So I see her, and if I have any weak spots or any areas, she will give me an extra exercise. And she helps me track my changes and keep me on a schedule. I like checking in with her. I know normally they recommend every 6 months. My physical therapist and I see each other every 3 to 4 months.
Oh, okay.
But she's just really, I find her really important to my team, in the sense of knowing my body because I do a lot of exercise, I run a lot of programs, but your individual body is different. And how you're doing the exercise correctly, she can track for you. Nobody on video will be able to correct your body or say, oh, I want you to work on this a little stronger and things like that. So when you're ready to paddle a little bit more, I do suggest you get a physical therapist that you trust and that you
Thank
build
you.
a relationship with.
That's very helpful, Susan. But I wonder, you're in California, in Northern California by any chance, are you?
No, but I love Northern California.
No, I was wondering if you could recommend somebody because I don't know whom to ask. And I'm also
Okay.
curious because, of course,
Talk to Lisa
Medicare,
and Steph.
What's
Talk
that,
to Lisa.
Suzanne?
Talk to Lisa and Steph at PD Connect. They can help you.
Yeah.
oh yes, that's a good idea.
Okay, who was next?
Sure.
I don't remember.
And your movement disorder center will be connected to some Parkinson's
Okay.
from PT people.
Okay.
Okay,
All
good.
right, we have Joan and then Clarissa.
Okay, Suzanne, what was your program, the CV Connect?
Yes,
See-
and you can do it on Zoom. It's a wonderful program. Every day of the week, they have exercises just designed for people with Parkinson's. It's
And-
CD Connect, and you can just Google that. It's like CD-connect.org, connect.org, CD-connect.org, I think is the actual
It's in the chat.
PD. Yeah, PD.
PD Connect.
Oh,
They're
P is in
wonderful.
Paul. Paul,
Yeah, as in Parkinson's.
Yeah, I put it in the chat.
Oh, great.
Okay, and then we had Patrice, and then Clarissa, I guess. Patrice, go ahead.
Okay, so I've had PD for 12 years. And like Sharon said, they didn't say much about exercise at the beginning. And I was working and I felt good with the medication and everything. And I didn't spend a lot of time exercising. And gradually I've had to do a lot more as I'm having more symptoms and difficulty walking even at times. But I'm glad you came up with the Dr. Zawar, I guess. I'm glad you came up with the numbers for us, because the last time I went to a class, they said something about, well, you can take a day off here and there. You really can't. I mean, once you get stiff if you don't get up and move. So just even half of a day, you have to keep moving kind of a little bit all the time to keep it going.
Wow.
Yeah.
I vary I do not do the same thing every day.
Right,
You
right.
need to vary it too.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
I put yoga in there 2 to 3 times a week, which is the stretching and flexibility and balance.
Mhm.
And then the aerobics or the high intensity I do other days. You don't have to do the high intensity every single day.
Right. But
But also
Pilates a couple of days a week, senior exercise class where they just walk around the room and do things. I'm thinking of getting back to the boxing thing and walks every day with the dog.
Yeah, find something you like to do. If you don't
Mhm.
like it, you won't do it. That's the key to all of this.
Yeah, exactly.
And the other thing I just want to say, and then
Pickleball.
and keep going, yeah, before I turn it over to Clarissa, is that now I've lost my train of thought. Okay, just keep moving, keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. Jimmy Choi is a great example. He didn't do anything for 5 years, gained 30 pounds. I don't know if you know, he's the one who was on American Ninja Warrior. He fell down the stairs carrying his son, and it was a wake-up call. He walked to the mailbox the first day. The next day, he walked twice to the mailbox. And now he's, then within 6 months, he was running half marathons. So take it day by day, by day, by day, and increase gradually. And it really, really works if you set your mind to it. If you just sit home and do nothing, you're not going to feel better. Okay, Clarissa.
Just to add to this, a quick thing. So you're doing really good. Like, you're motivated to do every day, find new ways to move. So keep that flowing. And if you get a chance, connect with the local physical therapist who is specialized or expert in treating Parkinson's. So this way they'll help you build a plan. And if there's anything specific which you need to focus on, you'll be able to add it in your existing routine. So it will be like helpful for you to do it more comprehensively and more targeted.
All right, Clarissa, finally.
Yeah, that's fine. Hi. I wanted to say that, so I was very active physically before I was diagnosed. I exercised very regularly, about 5 days a week, did very high impact aerobics, all that. So in a way, I kind of think that might have helped delay the onset of symptoms. It's possible, who knows? But then, it does take forever to get the appointment with the movement specialist. But I live near Philadelphia, so I'm able to go to Penn and that center. So I did ask immediately with my first appointment about seeing the PT, because I wanted to have baseline, and which was a really good idea, because it's been 6 months. I'm now going back again for new evaluations, because in that 6 months, I have really bad back pain. I have terrible stenosis, but I developed orthostatic hypotension. And with that, I just have to move much slower. Like these evaluations they do where you get up, sit up and down, the sit to stand, and then just, you got to do sit to stand and then walk and turn around and come back. I mean, it's so much slower. So because we had a baseline where I was able, they could see that change. And, that's really been helpful. And now I'm going back. It's not easy, it's not around the corner for me. I take the train, it's, a half a day trip just for a 1 hour appointment. But I feel it's worth it, because I'm going to the PT and the OT who see neuro patients all the time, instead of just a PT who's like trained in the LSVT big, for instance. I know there's many PTs in my area who are trained in that. And I asked if I should be doing that. And my PT had said, not really, because what I need is targeted exercises, very targeted. And because I was very active, she said the LSVT she doesn't think would be really helpful for me. So now I end up doing silver sneakers that I used to think were like way too simple, but I also have the Fitbit. So I use my Fitbit really to track my heart rate when I'm exercising. And I am really amazed at seeing, on the Fitbit, they have 3 levels for heart rate. There's fat burn, cardio, and peak. And I like to see that in a 1 hour class, I can at least get about 20 minutes in the cardio plus peak area. And I'm just shocked that that happens, because I don't, like I said, I used to do real high impact aerobics, and now this is not high impact, but for my body, now it is. So I'm glad that my local Y offers lots of silver sneakers. I can go practically every day. I also started doing Tai Chi, which I'm very surprised that I like it, but it makes you really mentally stay very focused. And I think it does help with the balance, because you have to move slowly and you have to move left to right, forwards and backwards. So I'm surprised with that. And then there's chair yoga. I used to do yoga all the time. So now I'm doing chair yoga because the stretching is really good. That really does help. So just for Suzanne, I think it's a good thing for you to keep in mind to try to get a baseline with a neuro PT.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's really, I wanted to mention that too, along with the other woman who said that. I see the question, what is silver sneakers? Silver sneakers is just an exercise program for seniors, and it's a scripted thing. Like the instructors don't have to come up with their own choreography. It's all figured out for them. And there's like aerobics, there's strength, there's agility, everything's part of the 1 hour session.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. I'm going to wrap up here, and then you can stay on afterwards to talk for a few minutes if you have more questions. But I do want to say a couple of things. We have a mentor-mentee program. If you are newly diagnosed, please go to the website and look up the Peer Mentoring Program and fill out an application. If you're an experienced person with Parkinson's, you can be a mentor. But this program is free. Suzanne, who's on, is one of our leaders. And by the way, she's in Philadelphia, so Clarissa, you two should connect. And the other thing I wanted to mention, all of our previous, almost everything has been recorded. So, and we've had a lot of different types of exercise programs, including PD Connect. So if you go to the Sunday mornings page and scroll down, you'll see all the past programs. And you can click on the videos and watch any of the ones you want to watch. By the way, the one with Qigong is very, very popular. It's been viewed many, many times. So thank you, Apurva. This was wonderful. We really appreciate it. And here's the peer-to-peer mentoring program. If you're interested, just click on twitchywoman.com, and at the top you'll see peer support program for women. Click on that and fill out an application. And I'm going to be taking some time off on Sundays. I'm leaving a week from Friday to go to Scotland and then London and then Barcelona for the World Parkinson's Congress. So we're not going to have a meeting again until after I get back. So it will be mid-July. However, we will be sending out daily reports, not just me, but a lot of our women who will be with me. We'll be sending out some daily reports on the conference, and hopefully we can even stream some of them. We are going to have a poster on the poster tour on Thursday, and hopefully we'll be able to stream that to you. We'll let you know when that's happening. And then on July 23rd, I'm hoping to have a panel discussion with several of the women who attend with me to talk about their experiences at the Congress, and then plan on going to the next one in 2026. And we don't know where it's going to be. Rumor is it will be somewhere in our part of the world. Not sure if it's going to be US or Canada or Mexico, but somewhere around here. So our next Sunday program is not until July 16th. We will have Jacob Sidney, who is the editor at thequiver.org. And the Quiver is a place where you can post. They feature artwork and poetry and literature of Parkinson's people. So it's a creative outlet for people with Parkinson's. And as I said, July 23rd will be what we learned at the World Parkinson's Congress. And this afternoon, in about half an hour, we will have our second book discussion with the Gifts of Imperfection by Brene Brown. And then that is pretty much it.